Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Backstage Pass on the Boise Beat. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Abby Berman, a Los Angeles-based singer-songwriter whose melodies and heartfelt lyrics have captivated audiences nationwide. Beyond her music career, Abby is also a dedicated educator, nurturing the next generation of musicians. Join us as we delve into her artistic journey, explore her dual roles as performer and educator, and discuss her latest projects. Abby, what's happening? How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for the infectious smile. I think that's one of your trademarks. You must
Thank
get told that.
you. Sometimes, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
awesome. No, I appreciate you jumping on and joining me here for a few, get to know you a little bit, talk about music, talk about your background. You have a very interesting background with I'll just jump right into it. You're also a teacher.
I am. Yes. Yes. I'm a
Yeah.
full-time teacher. Yeah. I love it. It's awesome. Yeah. 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 I just got off work. Yeah.
How long you been an educator?
6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 I work for LAUSD. I have 2 11th grade classes. Well, I have 4 11th grade classes. Two of them are honors, and then I teach a poetry and spoken word class too. And
Nice.
it's awesome. It's really fun, and the kids are amazing. And yeah, I love it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it makes sense too because, when I was listening to your music, I mean, you can tell you put a lot of thought and heart into the writing element of it.
Thank
And
you.
so it makes sense that you would teach English lit, right? And
Oh,
poetry.
thank you. Yeah, I
Yeah.
try to kind of show them that it can be done out in the real world, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
to stay in the classroom. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks so
Do a
much.
lot of them know that you do music too?
They do. Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, they are awesome. They're really supportive. I did a Tiny Desk audition a couple weeks ago, and
Oh, I watched that one.
I
Yeah.
yeah. So I let all the students come in during lunch, and we filmed it during lunch, and it was so cool. They were just their
Wow.
energy is so exciting and infectious, and they're so sweet and so encouraging, and they like share my music and listen to it, and it's surprising because I'm supposed to be the nerdy teacher, but I mean I still am to them, I'm sure, but it's really cool. They're oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. And speaking of on the written side of it, so the lyrics that I've been catching up on, I haven't listened to every single track yours, but I've listened to enough to kind of hear the heartfelt side of the lyrics that you compose and what
Yeah.
you're piecing together.
Yeah.
Talk to me about like the artistic process of your songwriting. Like where does your inspiration come from? Like where does this stuff come from? Because it's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
There is a lot of reflecting involved. A lot of times, it'll be something that's just like itching me, driving me crazy, or an argument or a conversation. I mean, like most people who could just get inspired by stuff. I'm
Hmm.
luckily I'm pretty easily inspired. People inspire me, and stories inspire me, and I get really into and hyper focused on specific things. But a lot of times it'll be like a conversation I'll have. It's a really great conversation or an argument or just witnessing an experience that somebody's having. And I'll take kind of the whole night to reflect on it. And then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a song I gotta. So I'll kind of sit down and it kind of just happen. I'm really lucky that it happens pretty naturally.
Yeah.
I think there's enough like marinating in my brain that I've kind of processed it without trying too hard that the next day I'm usually able to kind of like piece it together in a coherent way, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess part of that's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
also stems from because you're classically trained as a pianist. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if I
Yes.
was trying to jog my memory and see if I remembered correctly, but because you've been trained for a long time in that arena, so my guess
Yeah.
is that in having that as part of your repertoire, right? Like you've been doing that for so long, like our
Yes.
our minds move infinitely probably faster than our fingers and everything else does sometimes, and so
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
so you've
Yeah.
been
You have to kind of, sorry.
you've been unpacking this for a minute then, huh? So that's
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It takes, yeah, the unpacking. lifetime of unpacking, I guess. Yeah, there's always like pieces
For
pulled
sure.
from situations. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, how talk to me a little bit about the like, I guess, evolution or transformation of your music from, when you first started figuring this thing out, saying, "Hey, I'm gonna do music. I'm gonna start recording music." Because from what I recall, you had a season where you were hardcore, getting trained into this arena. Kind of took a little bit of a hiatus, came
Yes.
back to it. Maybe I don't know if you fell back in love with it or something else sparked that to
Yeah.
resurface. What was that, by the way? Let me ask you that.
Um, I don't want to spend all our time on this, but it could take a lot of time. So more recently, I took a break during COVID. I had my daughter, and the week of lockdown, it was crazy.
Mm,
And it was like an emotional time for everyone. Everyone was confused and scared. But I also, it took a long time to figure out, but I was going through some postpartum
mm,
depression. So it was like I didn't have it in me to be able to create. It was the weirdest thing.
mm.
But I have taken breaks in the past. I've actually been writing music since I was 5. So it's always
Oh,
been like
wow.
a big part of, yeah. So it's always been a part of me. And I started doing it really seriously when I was in high school because I was in choir and we had these like talent shows we would do. And every once in a while I was like, I'm going to play a song I wrote. And just in like high school as a 14-year-old, people would react to these songs in like ways that I didn't expect. And it kind of became this like, oh my gosh, maybe I should be doing this. So I continued with it. I had a band in my early 20s and we were together until I was like 24, probably 25. And then I took a really long break and went back to school because the music industry is very exhausting
Yeah.
emotionally and physically. And yeah, it's such a roller coaster. So I have been in and out for a really, really long time. So it wasn't out of character for me to stop for a
Mm,
little while. But I'm gonna say it's the last time I'm out for a long time. Because
yeah.
it's yeah, I needed to step away. I needed to like figure my brain out and figure out being a mom and yeah, and but yeah, it's great. I definitely don't take it for granted at all now, like the fact that I'm able to do it again. And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the answer you were looking for, but I don't know.
Yeah, just tapping in. I just
Yeah,
curious,
yeah,
just tapping in.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe I didn't
Yeah.
answer the question, but yeah, I'm back. It's so good. And yeah, it feels great. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned something a bit ago that it can be super taxing. Like the industry can be super taxing on a person. Obviously, especially if you're not hitting the home run or what the perceived home
Yeah.
run that you want.
Yeah.
On top of life you got to deal with, etc. Like, how are you choosing to navigate that now? Especially being in LA, which is kind of notorious, right, for the artistic scene,
Crushing
right? And
dreams. Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say crushing dreams, but
No,
refining dreams.
yeah. You gotta make what you release really great, I guess. So I have in the last couple years I've gotten to a really great place. And I'm sure it's a lot to do with like having a happy home life now and like feeling really good about that. But I think honestly, because I'm a teacher and it's brought me this stability financially,
Mhm.
especially, it's kind of given me some kind of freedom to just be able to do music because I love it. Like
Mm.
not feel the pressure. Like
Yeah.
the goal isn't to go be a millionaire and have millions of followers and like go headline arenas or anything. Like the goal is just to release what makes me feel good and what I feel is sincere. And
Mhm.
I think like any artist, if they have something that's worth sharing, it's their job to share it. So I think it
Yeah.
more feels like it's a calling. Like I need to share it. It's good. I think what I do is worthy of being shared. So
Mm.
it feels more like not an obligation in a negative way, but like it's my job to share this. Like it's
Yeah.
good and it's sincere and it has meaning and I have good messages. Sometimes they're a little sad, but for the most part, they're pretty good.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think that state of mind really takes the pressure off of like the business end.
Mhm.
It makes it feel like I'm not so desperate to like I'll say no to gigs and I'll say no to certain things because um,
You don't have to.
I don't have to, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's such a
Mhm.
relief. In fact,
Yeah.
this time around, it feels really good. Like I have control, kind of,
Yeah.
instead of letting everyone else have control, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge lesson in there. I think there is power in being able to say no,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
instead of trying to people please or doing it because you feel a sense of obligation to it. But I think what you're alluding to here is that by not choosing maybe to do what is perceived as the proverbial artist route, which is like starving artist, you got to do this and that's all you do.
yeah,
I would say that everybody's got a different path on how they get to where
yeah,
they're supposed to go for their purpose and what you're supposed to do on
absolutely.
this planet. And
Yeah,
you're finding that teaching is kind of interwoven into that, which lets you do
yeah,
music as a passion, right?
absolutely. Yeah, and it is also like a performance every day, which is fun. Like
Yeah,
I get to like perform in front of them when they will pay attention.
sure.
They usually do, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah, yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So talk to me about the balance between the two. Like, how do the roles influence each other? Because obviously, a good chunk of your time is spent in a room. You're influencing another generation.
Yeah,
They get to see parts of you as a musician, artist, singer
yeah,
songwriter in the
yeah.
classroom. But some of that has to bleed over to the other side and back and forth, I would think.
Back and forth, absolutely. Yeah. What's cool, especially about my poetry class, is that sometimes you just get so surprised by these kids. Like I feel like I'm always like, I know you have it in you. I know you have it in you. But then every once in a while I'm like, whoa, you really had it in you.
Mm,
That was amazing. And I'm very often inspired. Like I get the brain tingles all the time when I'm talking to them, or
mm,
when they're reading something they've written or sharing something. So that is really cool and inspiring. And that maybe I won't write exactly about that, but it puts me in this like really great creative headspace. And like I mentioned before, I think it's really great. And I didn't realize it until I was like in it, that I'm able to kind of show students, well, I mean, I guess that I'm more than just I'm multidimensional, I guess.
yeah.
But then also that like this can lead to something. Like even if it's just for me, doing poetry, doing art, doing music, reading, just reading and
Hmm.
understanding literature and understanding the meanings behind things, like it can lead to something bigger. It doesn't have to just be in an 11th grade classroom or a poetry class.
Yeah.
I mean, like I poetry when I was younger really was kind of my meditation and kind of saved me when I was younger. And I feel like giving them that tool maybe like can help them. Maybe it'll lead to more. I don't know, but I know I've had students who have told me that after like taking my class, they just go home and write and write and write and
Mm,
write and like to I guess be able to give them that toolbox of things that they can use as a real life skill to help them to cope and to
yeah.
figure out life and that kind of thing. It's exciting and yeah, it inspires me. It gets me excited to be able to use those skills myself in my life.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw you a Hail Mary here, and I'm gonna ask you a question because I'm just gleaning from a little bit of what I've listened to so far and
Hmm.
some of what I'm hearing you speak to as well. And back to what I kind of started with about, your songs are really heartfelt lyrics, emotionally they're charged, right, with certain things. What's one of the hardest things you wrote about in your life?
um, there have been a few people who passed away that I've written about. I haven't released those because they were just more for me.
Mm,
And there's like a lot of songs that I are just for me. But more recently, my husband and I, we are a great couple. I love us. And we love hard and we fight hard.
mm,
And we, there was like a couple months where we were fighting hard a lot. And I wrote a song that was part of that NPR audition, the Tiny Desk audition. And it's called You're the Love of My Life and Sometimes I Hate You, or But Sometimes I Hate You. And
mhm,
I didn't realize as I was writing it, I thought it was kind of jokey, like, oh, I friggin' hate you. Like, I love
yeah.
you and I hate you. And in my head, I heard it like being some kind of like a Bon Jovi rock ballad kind of thing, like,
Mhm.
you're the love of my life. But it turned out to be very vulnerable and fragile when I started writing it more. Like the verses actually broke down how much our fighting had been tearing me apart, kind of.
Oh,
But it's also so real. Like I feel like that's a good part of maybe like what I write. I try to be really honest, and
mhm.
I've been with my husband for a very, very long time, and I think people see that we're really happy, and it's easy to think that it's a perfect relationship, and I like it's a real relationship, and it's I'm veering a bit, sorry, but
No.
but it feels good maybe to share a side that people don't usually share. I don't think people who have been in relationships for almost 20 years share
Mhm.
that they fight so hard and tell each other they hate each other sometimes. And it doesn't mean I don't love him, and it doesn't mean I don't want to be with him, but
Sure.
in that moment, I'm an intensely emotional person sometimes, and in that moment, it is like I'm falling apart. And
Mhm.
yeah, so it was hard to write about, and it was great because it was a quick write. I think I wrote it maybe an hour, and I came down and I was like, "You have to hear this song," and he's like, "Oh, it's so true. Good job." Like it was so funny that he would be encouraging, but he totally
Mhm.
is. And of course, he was feeling similar, and it doesn't make our relationship any less strong, but it's good to just be honest, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of what connects with people, and so that's why I was bringing that up. I'd imagine a lot of people connect because of the emotional transparency that
Yeah,
you have, and there's obviously, I guess, when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, there's a story behind this. I can tell there's a story behind it, and so it's like, what's the story behind
yeah.
it? Which, speaking of part two, and I don't know if this is the same person or not, but talk to me about "Don't Kiss the Frog." What is that, and why did that
Oh,
come up? Yeah.
so Don't Kiss the Frog. So when I released my like mini album, I guess it's a little bigger than an EP, but not quite a full album.
Hmm.
Um, I decided I wanted to release a book of poetry at the same time, mostly because album inserts aren't a thing anymore, and that's always been my favorite thing.
Mm.
Like an album, you want to go through the album insert. It's so exciting to see who
Yeah,
they thanked and see what the lyrics were and any little
that
note
was cool.
or Easter eggs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like, well, screw it. If I'm releasing a digital album, I'm going to release a book with it. And it's going to just be a whole book of poetry so that I can have like 4 pages of thank yous at the end. But the first poem that I put in the book is called The Frog Kissed Me. I was taking a children's literature class, like an analysis of children's literature. And it was a really fun class. And it opened my eyes to, I mean, I know most people know this, but I wasn't as aware about um, how some fairy tales were presenting maybe not so great messages to young
Mm,
girls.
yeah.
That I mean, it seems so obvious now, but it was pretty eye-opening for me, like to understand that. So my whole life I was presented with this idea that I needed to be saved by a Prince Charming, and there was
Hmm.
someone waiting for me. And Disney doesn't do that anymore, which is great. Now it's all of these empowering women's stories where or young lady stories where they're taking charge and they're their own hero, which is great. But the poem, I don't want to say it because it has a cuss word in it. It's my only poem that has a cuss word in it. But it's called The Frog Kissed Me. And it is a 3-line poem. You can look it up later,
Yeah.
but it just is the idea that somebody convinced me that they were a prince
Mm,
and they were really a frog,
gotcha.
and that was a mistake. And I wish I had maybe slapped him in the face.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I get
I
it.
did with words. So I kind of pulled that and turned it into. So the title of the album is "Don't Kiss the Frogs." I wanted it to have kind of a whimsical feel. Like
Mm,
I feel like a lot of what I write kind of feels to me. It feels like it's in the middle of a dream.
mm,
Like I don't know, it feels like a dreamy state, at least how my dreams kind of are. And I wanted it to have kind of a whimsical, dreamy thing, but I also wanted it to be edgy, and I didn't want it to be too, I don't like fantastical. I don't know. I'm
yeah.
rambling
No.
a bit about it, but maybe that
Ah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Very
Yeah. Totally. Totally. I
cool.
get you.
Yeah.
Question for you. Regarding your background, your ethnicity. Do you know where you're from, your family lineage?
Yeah. So I am so ethnically background.
Hmm.
My dad is Jewish. He's not religiously Jewish anymore, and my mom is white. I mean, just like a white American from Minnesota, moved out to Los Angeles when she
Hmm.
was really young in the 70s. Maybe, yeah, early 70s. She moved out to be a singer
Hmm.
too. So she's been a huge influence. But yeah, so I'm very much a white American.
The reason why I asked that
Yeah,
maybe
right.
sounds like a weird question, but
Yeah, totally. Well,
when I was listening, here's the
yeah,
reason why I was gonna ask you that question is
yeah.
because when I was listening to one of these tracks of yours, I was like, man, she reminds me of the Caucasian Alicia Keys. I don't know if anybody's ever compared
Oh,
you.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you.
yeah, just
That is one of the best compliments I've gotten. Thank you so much.
yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but
No, I'm
no.
that is I
Yeah,
am
and I'm not saying that to
so
gas you up. Like they're like the melodies that you're piecing together, the way that you're able to carry your voice. Like I was just like, wow, she totally reminds me of Alicia Keys. Yeah,
that's
and I was
so
like,
thank
this is
you.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm I'm white.
there's nothing to apologize about that though. Come
No,
on.
I mean like
You know, one of the things I think you mentioned earlier that reminded me regarding the production side of things, like with arrangements and whatnot, like because you have some great production behind it too. For anybody that's got a production ear and is able to, listen to the back, like who do you work with to produce your albums and whatnot? Because this ain't a solo venture.
no, it is not. I have an amazing friend. I don't know how much you know about like recording equipment or
Hmm. Quite a bit.
but yeah, okay.
Hmm.
So I have an amazing friend who works at Royer Labs, which is a really it's
Hmm.
a ribbon mic company for
Yeah.
people who don't know. Um, and he is one of my best friends. He has engineered and produced with me almost everything that I've done in the last like 8 years, probably.
Oh
Um,
wow.
what's so cool is the owner of the company. He just sold the company, but he is a little bit eccentric in the best way, like in a
Hmm.
great way. He has a home studio that has every kind of instrument you could want, every
Hmm.
type of gear you could want. Like we recorded almost everything we recorded has had plate reverb on it, which is crazy. And
Wow.
like backgrounds, if I'm using organ, it's going to be a Wurlitzer or like
Yeah.
it the so that has been so exciting and inspiring. But Gabe has a big background in recording. He recorded in a pretty big studio in LA with like a lot of big people. So he has a great ear,
Background
he has a lot
score.
of experience. Yeah, he's the fast. I've never seen anyone edit the way he's like so quick, just very professional. I wish he wanted to do it more because he just likes working with me, so he works with me.
Hmm.
But he's so talented that he should be doing it for his career. But he likes working on microphones, so
Yeah.
yeah. I am working with somebody new right now. Just Gabe needed a bit of a break for the last this year's been difficult for him doing music, but so I'm trying something new. I'm really excited. I have 2 songs that I'm going to release very soon. And my husband is friends with the drummer from Hoobastank. If you remember Hoobastank,
Yeah.
or
Oh
you
yeah.
know them, they're still
Hmm.
around. So Chris Hess is now my friend, and he's been recording the last 2 songs of mine, and he played drums on them too, which was super
Nice.
cool.
That's what's up.
And it's so different. It's such a different approach than what I'm used to.
Mm.
Everything that I've done with Gabe has been a very slow process because it's so detailed. There's so many pieces that take a long time. Like it takes a long time to arrange strings, and it takes a long time to get somebody to
Yeah.
make those arrangements. It gets time to like get the musicians who are going to play those strings and to get every musician in. There's so many pieces, and so this is a very different experience because we needed a drummer, and Chris is like, well, I'll play drums for you, let's do this. And
Yeah.
it's
That's cool.
been yeah, it's been really cool. It's also been weird that like he's more independent with it all, and but awesome, like a relief because I'm very busy. So it's a different experience that I'm liking a lot so far. So yeah, I don't know. You'll hear it when it comes out. It'll be
Yeah. What's the overarching concept behind this new project?
um so
And I said you haven't leaked it yet or not whatnot. So
no, I
yeah.
haven't. No. I mean, I've released some singles. Conceptually, this is well, okay, so musically it's going to be very different. Don't Kiss the Frogs was 100% organic. Every instrument was a real instrument. There was no like auto tune on anything. There was, like I said, plate reverb, which people don't even
Mhm.
use anymore. So like it was so organic, which was really awesome and really beautiful, and also very time consuming and cost a lot sometimes. And this new set of songs, I decided to play around more with like some beats and some like electronic sounds, and
Oh, okay.
which I've never done before. Like this is a
Mhm.
new adventure for me and really exciting. It's fun to kind of like explore that side of me musically, and very different. But I mean, there'll be obviously real instruments on there too. Like I'm really
Yeah.
good at piano, and there's real drums and bass, and
Wow.
but it's fun to add in extra things that I didn't see myself doing 10 years ago, and now I'm
Yeah.
like open to it, and it's really fun. Like it's yeah,
Exploring the boundaries, right? 'Cause, I mean, you
yeah,
went from
absolutely.
Alicia Keys to
Yeah.
Hoobastank and since, and
Yeah,
so
totally. Yes. Yeah, we're trying it out. We'll see what happens. I mean,
that's
good
cool. No,
Lord.
I mean, you
Yeah.
make you make a good point earlier about, hey, you don't have to stick with any particular box because nobody's dictating your music, right? So
Totally. It's awesome. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. And then as far as like kind of an overarching like message, um, this is definitely a more adult, and not like graphic adult content, but it's more geared towards like issues that I am
subject matter.
dealing with in my 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, like real life issues, real life struggles, real life understanding kind of things. Where I feel like a lot of the stuff I wrote before were more like love songs and more on a romantic
Hmm.
and these are not as romantic, which is fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool. Well, it shows the progression of a person,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
the maturation, if you would, of a person going through life. Like it's inevitable that you have tougher things to talk about because we go through stuff
Totally.
in
Totally.
life.
Yes. Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
get to capture that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, any particular dates of when you're looking to drop that and get it wrapped up?
Yeah. So these two songs should be done in the next 2 weeks is
Oh,
the hope and plan. So I would say like a month and a half to like kind of do whatever little promotion I'll do. So mid March would be amazing.
yeah.
Maybe April. Which it seems like it's so far away, but I know it's gonna fly. So
That's
like
a
in the
couple
next
weeks
few
away. Yeah.
months, yeah, in the next 2 months, I should have both of them ready, and I'll release one and then release the other a few weeks later.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that'd be one thing. I mean, you're inspiring in the classroom, but for anybody that's listening and maybe they are a musician, maybe there's somebody that hung up the gloves, if you would, for a minute
yeah,
and are deciding, whether to jump back in the saddle again or they're just having a hard time with, navigating this thing and choosing to still be a creative amidst, the challenges that come with it and whatnot. What would you say as an inspirational message, if you would, or something for anybody listening that's in that arena?
yeah. Really focus and remember why you're doing it. Don't let the others dictate why you're doing it. I'd say it has helped me so much to focus on the I do this because I love it. And I'll do it even if nobody listens because I love it. If you can get past the need for that, what society deems success, and you just do it to make yourself happy and to bring joy to other people, or sadness or healing, um, fail.
Yeah,
people.
I appreciate it. Abby, I'm gonna pause there because that whole response, you've been frozen on me for
Was I frozen the whole
most of it.
time? Oh, I'm so sorry. Have I kept freezing the whole time?
You're starting to come back now, but you're blurred and delayed. I
Oh
think
my
it's just your
gosh.
internet, I think.
Yeah, should I move?
It's okay. I think give it 2
It's okay
seconds here. I
now?
think it's starting to
Okay.
clear up. Your picture, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you're back. I think you're back from the Matrix.
Okay. I'm back. Back. I took the right
Let
pill this time.
yeah.
Uh,
Let me run it back if I could. Yeah, let me ask
yeah,
you again.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Abby, for anybody that is maybe an aspiring musician or somebody that's been, in the shoes that you've been in before, and they're struggling and they're determining whether or not they should be doing this, like what inspiration or word of encouragement would you give for somebody that's listening?
I would say try your best to remember why you're doing it. Um, it's so easy to get caught up in the business part of it and to be told you need to be doing this and you need to look like this and you need to dress like this and these are the kind of songs you should be writing. But at the end of the day, I love what I do and I do it if nobody listens to it. And I love it when people do want to listen to it, but
Mm,
it is for me. I do it because it brings me joy. So get back to that because if you are hating it and you're not enjoying it, either you don't love it anymore or you need to remind yourself that you love
mhm.
it, I would say.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Cool. And for the final plug, for where people can catch your upcoming release, it's gonna be up here in a couple weeks, or just the
Yes.
music you currently have. Where can people catch you at?
Yes, please follow me on Instagram. Please, please, please. It's at Abby Berman. And follow me on Spotify. Actually, follow me on anything that you're willing to. It is Abby Berman, ABBYBERMAN. The more people that follow, the more seriously I'm taken. So, so please help me be taken seriously.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll make sure I'll put one of your players in the write up to this as
Oh,
well, so
thank you.
people
Oh,
don't
thank
have to
you so
look
much.
far to actually listen to your stuff as
Awesome.
well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no doubt. Abby, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. This has been
Yeah,
awesome. I appreciate how kind you are and great questions. And I didn't feel silly at all. So thank you.
you got it. Yeah, this has been awesome. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
have a good one.
Bye.